We are back with another episode of the Ron's Way podcast. And today we have Lydia here from Netflix Love is Blind, Season 5. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
It's been a long time coming, huh?
Like I said, I messaged her on October 2023. And, you know, like I said, I did not give up.
You did not give up, and that's why we're here today.
And if I ever want another interview, I'm still not going to give up. But how are you doing?
I'm good.
How are you doing, like, mentally? Like, really tell me, like,
mentally,
what's going on?
Right now, mentally, life is kicking me in the butt.
Really? What's wrong?
Oh, I have a health condition that is just being an uphill battle. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia back in September of last year of 2024, and it's been a struggle since. It affects my daily life. So I'm trying to fight with that. It's literally your body fighting against you.
Well, I hope, you know, you get the treatment like I told you that you deserve and that, you know, you feel better eventually.
Eventually, yeah. That's the goal, just to feel a little bit better eventually.
Yes. Now, I will start light on you. Are you ready?
Yes, let's go for it.
So, you decided to go on TV to find love. Netflix. Yes. You decided to go on TV and find love. So, why TV, right? Because we all know there's different apps out there. There's Tinder. There's different apps that you can choose from, clubs, lounges. So, why TV?
I mean, I think you can see it on TV. Why? My prize was front and center.
Yeah.
And I wasn't choosing right. I believe that my picker was broken clearly. You can see it on TV. And I wanted something. I was ready to find my husband. And it's unusual and it is an experiment. Love is Blind. It is an experiment. It's a social experiment. And I wanted for someone to love me for who I was beyond my physical attributes.
So, with that being said, right, what happened before you went on TV? Like, how was your dating life before?
My dating life before TV was awful. I was in a lot of situationships. I tend to be a people pleaser. Okay. I'm still working on it. And also, I've been in therapy since like 2020. For those of you that are concerned about my mental health. And I am an advocate for that. I feel like everybody should have therapy because we don't come with a manual's instructions of how to deal with what situation in life. Right. And I am a really big fan of therapy. Before the show, I was just in a lot of situations where my friends used to say, like, Lydia, you have a type. Maybe you have to date outside your type. I'm like, I don't have a type. It just ends up to be a black man that's 6 foot over and muscular and like just the typical stereotypical guy that I was dating. And it was never a part that I was choosing myself and putting myself first. I usually more than often lost myself in the relationships. Okay. And tried to like turn myself a little bit off to, I don't know, to fit in this mold that the perspective gave me in that relationship.
When you look at different guys and you're like, no, he's not my type, he's my type. Like, so you're looking, they have to be 6 foot. They have to have
the height part, it wasn't even a thing. It was just happened to be that way. Like, you're scrolling through dating apps, and dating apps are so superficial. Like, you're literally, like, making a judgment over a picture. Yeah. And you decide, yes, I'm giving him a chance or not giving him a chance. And I tried to date, like, every type of guy, right? In any typical physical attribute.
No matter if they worked at Walmart, CVS, you didn't care.
As long as he treated me with respect, that's all I wanted, and I wanted to be loved. I craved that. That was my number one desire, to be loved for who I was, because I already knew that. And I'm not trying to sound here condescending or arrogant or cocky, but I know I can go anywhere and a guy is gonna approach me. I know that because I am that hot. No, I'm kidding. But besides that, I wanted to someone who really see me as who I was.
Yeah.
And what a better show than Love is Blind, where you're literally, you don't know what I look like. You're literally going off based on my personality. And I've always said my personality is 10 times better than my physical attributes. Like, I'm more beautiful in the inside than I'm out in the outside.
So when you got the call, or let me back up first. What made you go on Love is Blind? Like, did you see like an ad? Like,
so first was back in August 2021. And I know all of these dates because of the chaos that happened when the show aired. But they did a pool of all the reality shows on Netflix. And Love is Blind was one of them. Mm-hmm. It was also like, I think they had like Cake and something and Too Hot to Handle. Like, they had a bunch of them and they just put it out. And I had like the application.
They did?
Yeah, they did that back in August 2021. I can show you the email.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I can show you the email.
What kind of grabbed your attention was they put out all these different ads, and you just applied to all of them.
I applied to the ones that were dating. I think I applied to
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind. I think I even applied to The Circle. It wasn't dating, but I think I applied to The Circle. I'm not sure if The Circle was out yet or not.
I can't remember either.
I cannot remember.
Right.
And there was a bunch of them.
Right.
But I remember Love is Blind being one of them because that one was like the one that I caught my attention the most. Mm-hmm. And then things just like, whatever, I just kept with my life. And I was dating a guy by then. And no, it wasn't that one. But
see, we're here now. We're here.
Yeah, the problem with that one was.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll definitely get there.
But then in November 21, I got reached by a cast manager, completely different than the other person. Just FYI.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, they might have responded from the application in August. Mm-hmm. And I was like, heck yeah, I want to do it. Like, yes. I had already like stopped dating the other guy. Like, I was single. I was living my best life. I'm ready. And then later on, the process, you're not sure that you're in until like 2 weeks prior filming. So I wasn't sure that I was in until March of 2022.
So, I like to break stuff down. So, when you submitted your application, your name, a video audition, all of that stuff, correct?
Yes.
And you just said, hey, my name is Lydia.
The first thing that they do is give you a call. They give you a phone call. It's like 10, 15 minutes phone call. They need to have like a little vibe before even literally opening that application. If you pass that first initial call, then they'll send you an email saying, okay, it goes along the ways of saying like, okay, we're interested in knowing more about you. Let's start the application process and see where it goes. Okay. And this is just the production company. This is not even the network. The final say is the network, which in this case is Netflix.
Oh, it's not. Wait, and I want to make sure I know the background of it. It's not the production company, which is Kinetic.
Yes, production company is Kinetic, and then the network is Netflix.
But the only person that needs to agree for you to be on the show is Netflix.
If Netflix didn't like you, you were not going to be in there.
Okay.
As simple as that.
Okay.
The casting manager calls you, and she gets the vibe. In my case, it was a female. Mm-hmm. And she gets the vibe. She likes you or she doesn't. Mm-hmm. And then we go from there. I believe also it was like Thanksgiving break, so I didn't have. She was like, "I'm gonna call you this day because I'm on holiday." Because they always like sis when like it's holiday. Obviously, like everybody has off on Thanksgiving Day, and then they start with the application process, and then they do an interview. My interview lasted 2 hours, and it was a video call with the director of casting. And she asks you about everything. You're literally like, you even have to worry about the outfit that you're wearing. Like, she's like, okay, let's find out what are you gonna wear for this, because that's the video they sent to Netflix.
So, did they ever ask you who were your previous exes?
They only asked me for a list.
See that.
They didn't ask me. They never asked me for a list. They asked me for pictures. They sent you a list of the things that they want. They want photos. Photos of you and the types of that you date. It's not even like, give me your the list of
your exes.
100. No, it's not even that. It's literally pictures of the people you dated. And I think in my brain was like more of like, okay, they want to see what type of guy I date. Okay. And I didn't have any
of
pictures of that person that you saw on the show.
Got it. Okay.
So that's a very important thing. I
Because I like to know the background.
No, I submitted a picture with the guy that I was dating when I did the application.
Okay.
Like before I started dating him.
Okay.
I did that. The other one that was one of the persons that I really fell in love with, and then a third guy that I literally, like, we were in a dating relationship for like more than 6 months. So it was like people that I actually considered like serious dating, and also like that there wasn't a thing of, wait a minute, like I see him around. Like it was not like sleeping around kind of thing. It was like, okay, I dated this guy, so I sent the information, but I didn't have a picture of him, and it didn't cross my brain to like send a picture of him because I didn't have a picture of him with him. So it's like, what are you going to tell them? Like, oh yeah, I dated this guy, but there's no picture of us together? That makes no sense.
Okay. So you got the call. Lydia,
I got the call.
Lydia, we want you on the show.
No, I didn't. They were like, yes, we're interested. Okay, we get to the interview. They shut down that interview for an hour, and then they sent it to Netflix. Netflix says yes or no. From that point to like when you do the interview to knowing, it had to be already January of the next year, and you haven't know if you're in.
No idea.
They also do a background check on you. In my case, I've lived already by that time in 3 states, and I lived in Puerto Rico my majority of my life. And I knew the part of getting the background check from Puerto Rico, it was going to be a long, extensive process because Puerto Rico likes to takes time for everything.
Okay. And
it has always worked. And when I was like applying to my jobs here in the States, in the mainland, it took a while because of that. So I was already like expecting it, like, oh, the background check is not in. The background check is not in. The background check is not in. And what people don't also know is
what
in that process, right?
This is getting juicy.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the guys that I was dating, he posted on social media on his stories, and this was like, I think February or January, like one of those months of the year that we filmed. Oh, I got a call from Love is Blind. And he even put a question, like a fill in the question on his social media, on his stories. And I'm like, first of all, you're dumb because they're not going to entertain you once you put it out.
Right. I mean, they may, but they may actually take it down first.
Yeah, like it wouldn't. So
right.
I saw that, I screenshot it, and then I called my casting manager. And I was like, is this going to affect me? Like, I have physical evidence of this guy getting the call and posting it on social media. People don't know that. People think like, oh, no. If I had physical evidence that that guy was going to be there, heck yeah, I would have gonna get that call and be like, listen, this is happening.
So
who in their right mind will answer me this question. Who in the right mind will want their ex in the show? Who? It will literally take the entire experience.
Can we just say his name at this point?
I might as well.
Uche?
Yeah.
We're going to get to the scene where you guys have your sit down.
Yes.
But I will say this. I'm going to kind of back up a little bit. So you did get the call.
So you basically March 31st, they were like, okay, you're in.
Right, you're in.
Because I kept like asking, I'm like, hey, like I need to tell my work, like I need to like take off, like this is I need to know.
Any Uche things is going to be cleared up today. So you got the call, you went. How long are you guys in those pods? And before you answer that question, what is it like day to day? Like, does production say, okay, Lydia, today you're going to go into the pod and talk to X, Y, and Z?
No, you don't even know who you're talking to.
You don't?
No.
So how does it work day to day?
So day to day, you basically wake up in the morning, go film, start the executive producer always come and like greet us in the morning, talk to us, and then you will receive, you have your notebook. You have always seen the notebook with your names on it. And then the first page, you'll have a list. And the list says, pot 1 during this, like, that's your first date. Pot 7 is your second date. Pot 3 is you don't know who is going to be on the other side. You never know.
And how long is the pod section?
It starts with time increments, I believe, of 15, 20 minutes. And then day 1. And then they just keep adding time to it. You end up having 5 hours at the same time. And in the pod. Like, for straight.
At once.
Yeah. For like 5 hours.
But the whole pod thing is what, 30 days, right? It's 30 days, right?
No.
How long?
It's 2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks to find love.
Yep.
And if you don't find love, then it's like,
bye-bye.
That's it?
Yeah.
Damn.
Simple as that. But you have to think also about it. Like, people like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Yes.
That is crazy.
It is crazy. But at the same time, it's like, you never do that in real life. You don't have zero distractions. When you go on a date, put it like it's a couple hours.
Your cell phone.
But your phone is here. You can be like, oh, wait, you came in a second. Or you're like watching TV. Or you're
people walking.
Or people walking. Or you go dancing. Or you go to the movies. Or those are the dates that you have. You are not strictly talking for 5 hours straight. I'm talking 5 hours straight. You never do that. And then you take a break. And then you go to night dating. And that's 3-4 hours more on a date. Like, you're just talking.
Talk about an experiment.
Yeah, it is an experiment. You're just talking. Mm-hmm. And people, like, I'm like, yes, it sounds very crazy, but you don't get to these depths in the real world.
You don't.
And I've been in plenty of days. I know.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't.
You don't go to that extent level of, like, and it cuts so much of the BS out. Like, what's your favorite color? You don't even think about that.
You know.
Hey, do you want kids or not? Like, it's as simple as that. It's as straight up to the point as that.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Then, every day they will give you like guidance of questions. But it gets to a point that is so organic and natural that you just, maybe you look at it and glean from it. And I'm like, okay, I haven't asked him that question. Maybe it's time for me to ask him that. But the conversations go if you find your person, right?
Right.
So organically. And people don't know this. I had plenty of other people I was seeing, but I was like...
But production only chose what they thought would be good to the viewers.
They want to make sure they put a story together that is going to be compelling to the audience. It doesn't have to do with anybody's it's not a personal attack. It's more of like, what is going to be more entertaining for my viewers?
Right.
Netflix is a business. Like, this is...
what they do.
Yeah. People tend to romanticize everything in life because it's true. And I'm not taking away of like the romance from the show. But it's also like, you can see it with this past season. It was all love. It was all vanilla. It was very...
But let me tell you, I only watched your season. I watched your season 3 times.
But that's the thing. It's like, but then people still complain. And then they try to put the most lovey-dovey romance kind of season, and people complain. People are always going to complain. People always have an opinion. It's like buttholes. Everyone has one.
Yikes. I want to get this out in the open. Netflix does not tell you guys what to do, what to say.
It's not scripted
who
at
to
all.
marry.
Nope.
Fake anything. Nothing is fabricated.
Nope.
Everything is real, 100% real.
100% real.
So you coming out of those rooms crying your eyes out when you and Aaliyah would have those conversations and you would start to cry. All those things were 100% real.
Yeah. I believe like one of the things that shocked me the most over the experience is like, I don't believe no one in the outside world really put themselves in my shoes. I was not allowed to talk to anyone about what was going on. And I had to hear his name every day.
But let me tell you, one thing I love about you is that you put your emotions on the table and you say to yourself, you either hate it or love it.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about you.
And I always told myself, if I was going to be casted and I was actually going to give them the opportunity, I was not going to be someone who wasn't me. Because that was the whole thing. That was the whole purpose. I wanted someone to love me for being myself. Because if I did that, I won the lottery. Not have to change for anybody. Just be my authentic self. And people are going to love it or hate it. There's a lot of people that hate it.
Right.
But at the same time, I am content with who I am. And I love myself for who I am. Because this girl is amazing. And I've never met someone more empathetic, passionate, and loving than me. And that's a lot to say. And I'm not going to be ashamed of that.
And you shouldn't. It's just, it blows my mind because I know production was like, damn, like, this is good. Like, you would literally just put your whole self out there on TV. And, like, a first-timer on TV doesn't normally do things like that. Like, you cried, you laugh, you cuss, you scream. Like,
I was a very potty mouth back then, I have to admit it.
Like, you did all of it.
Yeah.
And, like, I felt like, damn, like, she's really putting herself out there in front of these cameras for millions of eyes to see.
You forget that they're there. You forget that that they're there. You forget that it's more like you get used to the environment you're in. You're kind of like a chameleon in that sense. And in the sense of like, oh, the cameras, where you're like, no, they tell you, don't look at the cameras because obviously like it doesn't go with production and family. Like, it doesn't work that way. So it gets to a point you forget about them. Maybe you were nervous the first day. You're like, oh my God, I'm like, I don't want to. But
after that?
No, but I was so excited. I remember being so excited. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I got chosen to be in this opportunity. How dope is this? A once in a lifetime opportunity. And I'm here. They chose me. And I was very grateful and I was very excited. And you can see like in the first day, like how excited I was until that point. But it was very exciting and thrilling, and I was just very grateful. I felt so blessed to have been given that opportunity to find love, the thing that I desire the most.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I watched the season 3 times.
Thank you for being a hardcore fan.
No, for real. No, and it's not even. It's just the fact that I'm not very vulnerable with my emotions. I feel like. Why? So
my husband's the same way. My husband is the same way.
So the fact that you put everything on the table, it was like, I can't do it. But kudos to you. You know, I can't do that.
One of the things that I've always said, and I've always said it everywhere I step foot on, the main goal with my social media and my image and my brand is to be an inspiration. If I can inspire you to be the best version of yourself, to feel your feelings, to be vulnerable, to be authentically you, I won. I don't need anything else. And that's the most precious thing that I have, because for every hate comment that I receive, there's 20,000 messages. Lydia, thank you for being you. And I get goosebumps still thinking about it. Thank you for being an inspiration. Something as silly as my hair. I have it straightened right now, but don't worry. On Monday's wash day. And mothers reaching out to me, Lydia, thank you so much because you wear your hair as natural as it is. And I can finally show my daughter you can be who you are completely. And look, she's thriving. And she hated her hair and now she loves it because of you. Mm-hmm. Those are things that fill your heart. And you're like, and you try, because like the noise can get very loud. The hate can get very loud. Extremely. And it got very loud during the season airing. Mm-hmm. It got to a point that it was overwhelming. It put me in a very, very, very delicate state. And I gave myself, and I still do, so much grace for how I handled that because I'm still here.
Yes, you are.
And I'm here working my ass off in every aspect, in every sense, through my family, my marriage, my friends, my work, my job, like everything. And no one knew to the extent of what my brain was telling me or how I was feeling, because every day there was something out.
But let me say this, the fact that you went through all of that and then you're still here, you came and do the podcast. I know you were kind of like skeptical, but I mean, I'm glad that you did show up. I know you were skeptical. I could tell. I could tell. I know she was like, what the hell is he going to ask me? But like, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you went on TV and you showed out, you showed up, and you did what you were supposed to do. And you found love.
And I found love.
Yeah. So that I'm happy about. Now my next question to you.
Yes.
Uche. How do you feel about Uche? We all love Uche. So how do you feel?
I don't have any feelings about him. I don't have.
You guys don't talk. You guys don't converse. You guys don't.
Hey, I kept my promise. I told him that was the last time he was going to see my face, and I kept my promise. It's been 3 years. Thank you. And I'm going to keep it that way.
So what's wrong with Uche?
I don't know. You have to ask him. Well, according to him, he'll probably say nothing. But I think, and I'm not going to talk for him because I don't like that he spoke for me and that he spread all the lies that he spread. And I was very appalled and very disappointed on his behavior. That was like the main thing. I look back at that scene in particular, and I remember feeling so defeated in the sense of like, I gave this man the best version of me once in life, like when we were dating.
But did you drive past his house and take a picture and send it to him and say,
dude,
I see you?
That day, that particular day, I remember I was out. There's a bar that is like near, it's like 1 block around his house. I texted him. I'm like, hey, I'm here. He was actually the one that showed me that bar, but I was with girlfriends at the time. He's like, I'm like swamped with work. And he sent me a picture of his dog and stuff like that. And I was like, well, if you like change your mind or anything, let me know. And then I was like, the night was ending. And I'm like, hey, I'm leaving, see ya. And that's when I took the picture because like I drove past his house. But it was in the fact that randomly, and after that, we saw each other like at least 20 times. He never brought that up once. And it was in like, we were having a conversation. And I was letting you know that I was gone because he never like.
So were you stalking other girls on his Instagram page?
Dude, when he said that, I was like, there's no way. If I would have done that, I would have done it through my fake account. Everybody knows that.
Because he said that you were stalking other girls' pages, and then they would screenshot.
I believe that the time that happened, because I saw like the screenshot. First of all, who has the screenshot from 2021? He does. Anyways, and I was like, this doesn't make sense, because if I was going to do that, I think at the time, because the reason that we stopped dating was because another person. Maybe I was like looking who he was. But come on, everybody does this, especially for the guy that you're dating. But I wasn't like stalkingly like going to, like it, and then the screenshots were so old.
Okay, so let me put it on the table. I feel like if you like someone, you're going to go and look at other people's pages.
You know what's funny with him
investigate.
Though? We matched first.
I see like nothing wrong with that.
Early 2020.
Don't call me crazy, but I see nothing wrong with that, because
it is not, because you're doing your due diligence.
But
I'm all for doing your due diligence.
But,
there's also obviously like there's
right.
I think there's levels of, and I think like we really hurt me when he called me a stalker. I'm like.
Yeah, he did call you a stalker. I was trying not to say that, but he did call you a stalker. And I was
like, what? Like, first of all, if you're a lawyer, you really think that I was a stalker, you were not going to press charges against me? If I was a psychopath, you were not going to press charges? Like, come on, dude.
That's how.
Give me a minute. And then you had never had the courage
to say this off camera.
And let me say this in Spanish because it has more. Tenía los testículos para decirme and tell me, hey, Lydia, I don't feel safe around you. Come on, dude. Out of the 1 week that when we were dating, actually dating, I spent the majority of my time at his house.
So why did he make it seem like you were the problem?
He was just trying to look good. He was just making an image and portraying a picture of like, I'm a saint. And she's a crazy stalker person, and that's the reason that it didn't work out. But that was a lie. That was a lie. Because if you really felt like that, you should have already told me. You would have had intercourse with me and not tell me about it. And you never did. And I can count like 20 times after that screenshot, you stalked, you passed through my house.
Because apparently the sex was good.
There is nothing else around, dude. Let's just say that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just...
Yikes. That's a burn.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, it's like... And I look back to that scene, and I'm like...
That's a burn.
I should have just laughed on his face. Because it's like... It's so comical.
But no, don't laugh. Defend yourself, because millions of people are watching that.
Yes.
And even myself, when I first saw it, and I said, is she a little cuckoo? That's what I said. I said, is she a little controlling and territorial? Like, why is she taking a picture of his house? Why is she stalking other girls' pages? He made it seem like you were this psycho. This
yes.
big,
and then there's people out there that believed it. And I'm like, how you can be so gullible? And then I'm like,
because
recently,
he had screenshots.
Yes. But at the same time, it's like screenshots of back of like when we were back. We literally said, and during the show, this 2022, and we had seen last time we saw each other was 3 months prior, right. And he said it. She blocked me, right? Wouldn't have already he have blocked me and like done everything in his power to not be around me? If that was the case, like, come on, it doesn't take 2 and 2 to know that he's lying. And it's like, I'm gonna judge your IQ if you believe him, 1,000%. And I don't want you around me. You believe what he's saying. Because the lies that man spread, I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
What did Milton say?
He was like
in private, because I know
in private. Yeah, I remember
private,
like,
what did he say?
This is actually funny. So when I actually told him, like, because I heard before the scene that he was putting all these lies about me, and James is like, it's okay, baby. It's okay if you're a little crazy. Doesn't matter. And I'm like, that's not true. And we just laugh about it. And he never made me feel like I was in the wrong. Because I was like, well, if you put it in that way, in that context, like if someone drove around your house, like maybe, like, because it made me second guess myself. I'm like, darn it. And he goes, baby, he's a 6'4" tall man. You're 5'4".
Mm-hmm.
You really think that he was in danger over a picture that you were talking about in a conversation?
Because I don't
knowing
think
who
he was in danger. I think he was just trying to say. I think he was trying to say Milton,
that she's mentally unstable, and that's what you're doing.
I think he was trying to say that to Milton to kind of discourage him of marrying you.
Yeah, of course. And at first, obviously they weren't able to show everything, but he was talking to Milton about me all the time.
Why?
Saying things like, oh, she has never had a boyfriend, like a serious relationship.
But why do you care so much?
Exactly. And at the same time, it's like, you're making it seem... He was texting him constantly during filming.
Really?
Yeah. Let's be friends. I want us to be friends.
Nobody
Can you please
knew that.
Can you please talk to Lydia and tell her that we want to be friends? Like, why? No. You want to even go business with him.
You tried to embarrass me on TV with millions of people
and then we
watch.
wanted to call truce off camera.
No, you
don't do that if I'm seriously you're mentally unstable and you want to keep.
You tried to get a moment off you and embarrass you on TV.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he was wanting to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that I say like now I look back and I'm like, I wish I wouldn't given like that importance because it bothered me in the sense of very mad. I was so upset. And I tried to explain that to Milton because I was like, it's my name. I take pride of my name. And this person is trying to destroy my name. And I know that I am not mentally unstable, that I'm not a stalker, that I'm not psychotic, that I'm not crazy. I know that for a fact. I have a therapist, a psychologist, a professional.
With a college degree.
With a college degree that's telling me otherwise. And she knows more than me than anybody else in this world. She knows all my traumas, every single one of them. I was in therapy when that situation happened. Like, she knew. And it's like...
I hate the fact that you walked away from that scene, though. I'm like, damn, she should have kept going.
The reason... I walked twice out of that scene.
You did? No.
Yeah, but they didn't show...
They didn't show that one.
The reason that I was like... Because... I couldn't find James Milton, sorry, because he was in the bathroom. Where's Milton? Where's Milton? By the way, I don't call him Milton anymore. I think like that's funny. There was a video rolling online, a reel of every time I call him Milton, and I'm like, that is so funny. Like 200 times of me saying his name. I was just because James was was my safety net, and he acted such a gentleman during that process, and he was there for me in every step of the way, and he never second doubted me. Milton knew everything before even we came to Houston. Like when we were in Mexico and we were solos and cameras are off, I told him exactly everything to the last little detail, because I didn't want him to come back and say or hear something that he didn't know. He knew everything. Every single detail he knew. Why we broke off, how it happened, how did the interaction happen, every single thing. The last time we saw each other, every single detail he knew.
You know I was scared for you though, because I really thought Milton was not going to marry you because of his family, one, and the age gap.
You know that's funny that they made it such a thing about the age gap to this day. And it's like, Stacey and Easy also had a age gap of 5 years. Mine was 6.
I didn't
Exactly.
I didn't even think of it that way.
Exactly. Lauren and Cameron, I think they 3 or 4 years apart. Who else? Like Tiffany and Brett. She's older than him for 2 or 3 years. They made it such a thing, but it's like, it's not. It was never a thing. It stopped being a thing when I asked him. I don't know. I don't recall if they showed this.
Right.
I don't think they did. But I asked him because, like, one of the major concerns was, like, he was never being very vulnerable with me and open besides his age.
You guys kind of talked about it in the pod, I remember.
Yeah,
it was
about the vulnerability.
Small.
Yeah. And then I told him, and he goes... He's a very wise man. He goes, well, if you have not known my age, have I ever acted immaturely with you? And I stepped back and I was like, you have not. And I gave him my word. I'm like, you know what? From this moment on, age is not going to be a thing between us anymore. And I kept my promise, and I never brought it back up. Besides us, like, trolling each other and, like, teasing each other. But
I like when he calls you old.
Yeah, and I call him a baby. I'm like, try being a child. But it really doesn't come up until someone mentions it. And there's like, I hate when there's an article and it says 7 years gap. It's 6. It's 6. It's like literally 6 years to the dot. Like, no.
But how do you feel about your husband?
He's very smart.
Okay.
Intelligent and very driven about his work life. He's like that man, whatever his mind is set to, he's going to make it happen. Like right now he's at school, making sure that it happens, and his dedication for work and everything is something like I've never seen it that much. That ambition, but that ambition that is like, I'm going to make a name about myself, and he has trillion degrees, and it's like, he has to like school because...
He's smart as hell.
Yeah, he's very wise.
He's very book smart.
He's very wise.
Yes. I wish he was here.
I'm sorry, he's a wise. he's studying, he's being a nerd.
When I was watching it about 2 or 3 days ago, his mom grilled the hell out of you. Like,
it's so funny because mom, I call her mom.
She grilled the hell out of you.
But I never gave them like a hard time for it because I understood where they were coming from.
Are they lawyers?
Yes.
No, what?
They work at the Department of Defense. Like, yes, like they're both ex-Navies.
Yeah, it's the way they were asking her. Like, if you watch the show, they were like, okay, Lydia, why are you from my son? Do you think the ages like they were so serious? It was like, can you guys smirk? Can you laugh? They were so damn serious.
And it's funny that people think like, oh, James was like Milton. Sorry, keep forgetting. Milton was not going to marry me because of them. He was like, I don't care. I was the one that actually told him, no, we need to have that family reunion. I want him. He fixed his family relationship because of me. Mm-hmm. People don't know that, but people don't assume that. But yes, it was because of me. That man now calls his mom every day. That man is like actively in his family with his dad. Like,
yeah, because he stated the dinner scene with his sister that his family was never the type to kind of check up. It was almost like, okay, we'll see each other when we see each other. We'll call when we call. And he said with
my relationship, they're my family here. They're my family, mom and dad. And I call them mom and dad. And it's like my relationship with my in-laws is perfect. Like,
but you taught him something.
Yes. And people don't know this then also I want to clarify something because media took it out of context. And it's to this day, I still receive the question, do you guys live together? We've always lived together since we met.
I mean, they're married. Why the hell wouldn't they live together?
And it was because when the show aired during that exact same month in September 2023, his job sent him to California to do some training for a couple of months.
Right.
And then they interview me and I'm like, well, right now he's in California. And they're like, oh. And then all these people
they just took it and ran with it.
And they're not living together. Of course they're not living together. And I'm like, that's not true.
Because the lie is always more entertaining.
Compelling than
it's
the
always
truth.
more entertaining than the truth.
Yeah, and I'm like, I've always lived with him. He's always lived here. He was away. We worked perfectly because we were not supposed to be out together.
Yeah.
I was in Texas. He was in California. But if this week I was in California and he was in California, and next week he was in Texas and I was in Texas. So we didn't even spend like more than 1 week apart because we were like flying to see each other. And then we were also like filming reunion and things that we were doing back and forth. So it worked out for us. And then he had a friend that passed away, so he came back home. Like there was
the one that was in the scene?
What?
Were they in any of the friend that died?
No.
Was he in any of those scenes?
I don't think so. No.
Okay,
He was a coworker. And at the same time, it's like people don't know this, but like there was one time that a podcast aired, and it was very detrimental to my health. I call him hysterically crying, sobbing, and I'm like, oh my God, everybody's against me, because these were girls that were from the show,
right?
Sending me text message, Lydia, I still love from me. Lydia, we love you. Lydia, I hope you're okay. Literally go to a podcast and destroyed my name. And of course, like looking back now, I was the only relevant, what they were going to talk about.
Ooh.
For 15 seconds of fame. Because nobody knows who you are now. Like, what are you talking about?
You're shady. I love it.
It's the truth. Like I told you, I've never spoken my truth, and I love it. And I've kept myself with a lot of composure, and I'm still am.
And who are you talking about exactly?
Let's just not give it that attention.
Is it Leah?
No, I'm not talking about Lydia.
Have you spoken to Leah?
No.
Okay.
That's another subject. But let's just say I don't agree with the approach she gave the whole situation. Because we were fine. And then we were not. There was a whole situation that happened off camera that people don't know about. But before that, what I was saying was there was this time that James, was in California. That podcast aired, which I'm not going to give the light to. That's why I don't want to say the names. And he called his mom. He was in FaceTime with me. Dialed his mom.
Yes.
His mom arrived to our house. And she slept the night through with me because she didn't want to give me. He didn't want me to leave myself alone. That was the kind of man that he was during the show. And that he is, obviously. Like, he was trying to... That's a relationship that I have with him. Mom went and stayed with me because she was like, I'm not going to leave you alone. This is too much. And they have been my support. They are my rock. I have a doctor's appointment. Mom's like, okay, I'll go with you. She went through me. They did a liver biopsy once. I'm good. I'm fine. In that sense, but she was the one that gave it to me. I had an allergic reaction because they gave me
that's so damn hard
iodine,
to believe.
and she was the one that was there with me.
Right.
And that arrived too because James was at work.
Right.
So those are the people that I have in my corner. They're my family. So like when people are like, oh my God, they were so hard on you. Yes, they were. Because that was the first woman that they have met from their son. And you're telling me that you're going to get married to this girl? Now it's more like they love me more than him. But it was like I knew with time and time and experiences and spending time together that they were going to love me. And they were going to know me because they didn't know me back then. And they had the right to ask those questions. What are your intents with my son? What do you want with him?
Yeah, and like...
And at the same time, it's like, you see a mature 30 years old, what do you want to do with a 24?
Yeah, but it was also like... I was trying not to say this, but I'm going to say it. It was almost like they were trying to control him and tell him, James, this is either for you or it's not for you, and you should or should not do it. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but at the same time, it's like, is their kid. It's
yeah,
like,
but it was like he's a grown ass man. You know what I mean? So James is going to make his decision
regardless
based off of his own.
Yeah, and he did.
Yes,
and he did, and he's like.
Based off his own thoughts and feelings,
yes,
he was going to make his own decisions.
And it's funny because like people are like, oh, I've never had a doubt that he was going to say yes to me. That man at night will hold my face and say, I cannot wait to marry you. I cannot wait to spend the rest of my life with you. That was the man that I had at home. And like obviously sometimes it's very unfortunate. Like I wish they would have shown more of our love story. Like I've said this before, but one of the gifts that you're supposed to bring a gift for your potential spouse, right? He brought a rock.
Okay.
A huge rock.
Okay.
What are the odds that he ended up with the geologist out of all the girls? Not the teacher.
That is kind of.
Not the air attendant, the geologist.
Yeah.
And he was able to give the rock to a geologist. And they were able to nerd it out and try to figure out what kind of rock is this? What minerals are in the air? And we did that. Obviously, you guys didn't saw it, but
right.
I was like, why they didn't show it? I don't know. But at the same time, it's like, I wish people would have seen more of that. Because they get able to see more of a love story. Well, because it kind of like makes sense. And sometimes I don't even judge people that harshly when they're like have their opinions about me or my marriage. Because it's like, you're judging based on what you saw. You only saw 2 hours and 30 minutes from me. For my face, by the way.
And not even that. You wouldn't, not saying like you, but just speaking in general, most people wouldn't dare put their love life on a camera.
No, it would never be as brave as I did.
Because they don't want the backlash.
And one thing's like a repeated question has always been, do you have any regrets? And I'm like,
you don't, because that rock. Where is your? Let me see your.
Oh, this is not the one that he gave me. This is the one that was my mom's.
Oh, okay.
But at the same time, yes. Besides that,
she goes. You see the rock.
Besides that,
yeah.
If I would have done something differently, I would have done a better job of protecting her as in me. Because I didn't protect me. I was so genuinely myself and so vulnerable that I didn't protect myself. I didn't look more than or thought maliciously. If I don't think maliciously or things that could have been interpreted any type of way, I would have kept more to myself. I would have not be there to comfort anybody or be friends with anybody. I would have taken the title of the bitch of the season,
right? Because
she's not talking to the girls or not sharing her experience.
But you went there and you were.
But I was authentic to myself. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, at what price? Because it cost me a lot of emotional damage, and it cost a lot of therapy sessions of me forgiving myself for not protecting myself.
But sometimes, as I like to say, you have to go through the bad to get to the good.
Yeah.
And the good was your husband.
Yes, 1,000%. But yeah, like if I was being completely honest, it does cost me a lot.
Does it really though?
Yeah, it did cost me a lot because I was like, if I would have not said anything, I wouldn't have the hate. They would hate me for something else probably because they always
but I don't
have
think
something.
that they necessarily hate. You know, use the word hate. They
You haven't seen my messages.
They just have an opinion.
Yeah.
Right? Whether that opinion is good or bad.
And yeah, I have to think. It's like, you know how miserable you have to be to go to a stranger's, because I'm a stranger, you don't know me, page and leave a nasty hate comment, DM.
Because they're so invested into the TV show.
To the point of saying, like, I wish someone kill you.
Yeah, they're that invested. They're that invested.
You're miserable with your own life. Have you ever seen someone do that is happy with themselves or have a beautiful life, or they're so busy with their life, they're like,
I see it all the time. I follow tons of blogs.
That actually someone is actually happy, authentically happy with themselves. Because social media is a representation that we put out there whatever we want people to see.
Right.
Social media is fake.
Oh, don't get me started.
Social media is fake, and there's no one in this world that is going to try to tell me, no, social media is fake. You only see portions of my life that I allow you to see. And I'm not sharing the ugly, nasty things. Like people, it's like also like, oh, they were like arguing a lot or whatever, and relationship wise, and I'm like, if you don't have disagreements with your person, with your partner, you're not being you. There's something that you're hiding. It's part of every relationship. And I'm not even talking about just your marriage, your friends, your family. There's always going to be something that you guys don't agree upon because you're not the same person.
Right.
And we tend to romanticize every aspect of our lives. We're not. It's almost making it like I was a perfectionist.
But I will say
not anymore.
Why not?
Because I learned that life is not perfect.
It's not. No, it's not. It's not. But it's how you make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same time,
that those people come to your page, they're so invested in a TV show, and it's like, why are you coming on my page to hate me? You don't even know me, which I get. But I don't think, and it's just, just as me, just me talking. I don't think you should feel bad. I don't think you should feel sad. I don't think you should feel, any hatred. Like it's gonna come. If you do another TV show, they're gonna say the same thing.
No, yeah, 1,000%.
You know what I mean?
And that's why I told you, like, there's always gonna be something that they're gonna complain about and they're gonna hate about me.
Right, but guess what? They're always gonna watch you. If they're not gonna do anything else,
oh yeah,
they're gonna do what?
I'm like, watch you. And I appreciate the engagement when they have a full blown conversations on TikTok on a whatever video I put with my husband, and they're having complete arguments and disagreements, and it's like 35 comments. I'm like, thank you. Keep my engagement going up.
Because if it doesn't matter if it's bad publicity or good publicity, like
it's still publicity. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean? You're being talked about. You're the topic of discussion. They could be talking about somebody else, but look who they're talking about. Me. Spending 30 minutes on a reel.
And you know what? Those are the same people that will come to you. They'll see you on a real, like, in person.
Uh-huh. Oh, can I get a picture?
Yes, 1,000%. Oh, it doesn't fail. Like the most nastiest hate it, and you go to their page, and they have a Bible verse on their biography.
Yikes!
I'm like,
hypocrite.
It's completely.
Yeah.
And there's something that I will never be in this world, and will never ever call myself to be a hypocrite.
I can't believe you felt. I mean, I guess it was your first time on TV, so I kind of can see why. And
but again, I'm a people person. I feel too much, and when I say I feel too much, it's like with the most amount of love, I suffer too.
But if Milton didn't say anything right about you, your emotions are your emotions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Lydia, like she will put it all on the table.
I would, and I did.
You put stuff on the table, and like I told you before, it's either hate it or love it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this you are who you are.
There's no gray area. It's literally you hate it or you love it.
Yes. Sometimes that could be a good thing.
And sometimes it's gonna be a bad thing.
Yeah.
And And I've learned to love that part of me because it was something that I disliked and I had to accept before even going to the show. Because I had my experiences and my shares and with friendships, mostly with friendships. There was a cultural shock when I moved to the mainland. People don't know this. I spent 23 years of my life in Puerto Rico. It wasn't, oh, she was there 5 years or 6 years. No, I grew up in Puerto Rico. So when it comes to here, to the mainland, people are very superficial. It's like, yes, I'll be your friend, but I just want a picture, a pretty picture because you're pretty, and I'll put it on my social media and that's it. It's not necessary because I want to know about your problems. When COVID hit, I was in a very, 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 very bad place because I was alone. I was completely alone. A human being is not meant to be alone. Heck no.
They're not. I feel like, no, I'm not going to say that because then people are going to try to come for me. Actually, I don't really care. Even with myself, I feel like I've gotten content with who I am. And I feel like I don't really want anybody. Because
it's a dangerous thing.
Because I feel like nobody, like I feel like you're one of the lucky ones, right? If you go, I went back, or if you go back too and look at all the couples that were on your season, right? Like for oh my God, what's the name? They broke up in the beginning. They broke up at the
Taylor and JP.
Yes, he he told her that she looks different without makeup on. You know what I mean? Like. And love is really blind, like, you know.
And I agree 1,000% to this day. And I've always said, wherever I step foot, love is blind. Even if whatever season, the relationships that don't work out had nothing to do with the show. Love is blind. Because you fall in love without seeing someone. You do fall in love without seeing someone.
So would you have approached Milton in person?
No.
Would Milton have approached you in person?
I don't think so. He's too
nerdy.
Yeah, he would have been like.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't see my husband being like the one that actually actively
doing the.
He I don't want to say like he's very like confident in himself, and he's not gonna be like, oh, let me go to this girl and talk to her. And like, I don't know. I don't think he will approach me. But that's what the show is about. Like not going for the person that you usually go for.
Because I can't be vulnerable. I can't do half of the shit you did on TV. And like I would regret it forever if I went on TV freaking crying. I don't even cry in real life, so why would I do that on the camera? You know what I mean?
I cry every time.
Right. But like again, like even I told you in your DMs, I said this is why I like you, because out of all the girls, Aaliyah she was all right. You know, she was okay. But you were just that person that I was like, damn, like I really like her. Like her personality is out there. She's very transparent. That's why I like you.
And that was my main goal with the whole conversation with Aaliyah. I just wanted to be transparent and honest. I didn't want, and there was actually a conversation the next day when she tells me, Lydia, that was too much. And I say, I am sorry. I was just giving you all the information that they have. They as in production. Because they have done many interviews with me. They have asked all the questions. And they know it. And I don't want the show airing. And you say, you lied to me, Lydia. You told me that you want me on your kid's life.
Have you spoken to Aaliyah?
Not recently.
So why not?
She made her very clear what she thought about me.
And what did she think about you?
That I ruined her experience when that was not what she said to me.
You didn't ruin her experience. She ruined her experience. And I'll say it.
I'm not going to put words on her mouth, but I'm going to say what she told me. Because when she came to reunion, let me tell you this. When she came to reunion, I think she came with the attack mode. And I felt attack.
She's very defensive.
Yeah, she was very defensive. And she was like throwing daggers at me. And I was like, why? We know if it was truly my responsibility, the minute that those two were alone and I wasn't in the picture, that would have worked out.
Why you didn't? You should have. But why you don't put shit on this? Like why didn't you just No, it's your fault. Like, you should tell it's your fault, right? You decided to leave. You decided to say...
You know what she told me? And I've never said this.
What?
I've never said this before. And this is the first time I'm saying it on camera. The day that she tells me, that she says in reunion, oh, you told me that you and Uche discussed and blah, 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 blah. That day at that bar, we already stopped filming. And that's why I'm like so in shock about how she treated me when the show was airing. Because she told me straightforward, and I swear to God on this. She told me, I left because I was not going to put myself in the embarrassment of him saying no to me at the altar. It had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with him.
But why did she twist? But sometimes, wait, because I want to make sure I say the right words. Sometimes editing could make it look that way as well. Like, not saying that it didn't go the way that you're saying it went, but I know how editing could be.
Oh, this was off camera. Oh. This was a conversation that was off camera.
It was off camera?
It was off camera.
There was, okay.
Yeah, this was when we stopped filming. Then I learned out that a third person was actually the one that made that happen. And it was her friend Johnny.
But I think she dodged a bullet, by the way, but go ahead.
Of course she did. Aaliyah's thriving, married, in her own course and in her own path of life. Mm-hmm. Like, she's doing amazing from what I've heard. Mm-hmm.
She dodged a bullet. She definitely dodged a bullet. I feel like Uche, in the beginning, I like Uche. Up until the point where he went to the gathering. That's when I began to not like him. Because I felt like he was only... I'm going to say, I don't give a damn. He was jealous. He was jealous. He was envious. He wanted what you have. He wanted what the other couples had, and he couldn't get it.
Yeah, but like, at the end of the day, I did close that chapter in my life, and like, it is sometimes it's very heart-wrenching because I even talked with my in-laws about this. I'm like, I hate that is always going to be part of who I am.
Your story.
Yeah, it's always going to be part of my story. I didn't want, nobody goes on the show with this. I'm like, yes. Now it's like, because I wish very wholeheartedly that everything would have been about me and my husband.
It was.
But at the same time, it doesn't feel like when you go to Google Internet, Lydia Love is Wine, the first thing that you see is a picture of him, of the other guy.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to carry that with me. And it's very heavy in that sense. Because I wish I had what the other couples did. I do like, not that I'm jealous about it, but I do envy a little bit that love story from Johnny and Amy from season 6. You didn't watch it. Or maybe from Tiffany and Brett, or like those love stories that you're just like, I wish that's what people see more of than just. They always said, producers always said that they love our love story, Mines and Milton, because it was very real.
Hell yeah. And
I think that's why also there has so much dislikeness of stuff, because it's very real.
It is.
And it can be triggering to a lot of people. And I think that's what people like dislike about when they dislike about me. I remember or trigger something about them, or what do you say that to her, or you ruined that woman's experience. And I'm like, no, I did not. I did not. That doesn't follow me. That does not follow me.
I hope you guys can talk one day. I hope.
I hope so too. And I don't have any ill feelings towards her. I dislike how she handled it. Yes, 1,000%. But I only wish her the best. And I was friends with her since we left that plane when we first arrived to LA. I remember, like, it was so organic. Oh my God, you're excited. We were like rocking it out. We got to the hotel. We
got a ball.
Got along because we had to wait like hours to get our hotel room. And we made like this connection of poetry, because she's a songwriter and she writes things. And I'm like, oh, I write poetry. And we were literally like reciting poems, and she was reciting what she wrote. And everybody was trying to like be authentic themselves. Since that first moment, since that first day, we connected.
You know, like, who really like got on my, God, I can't believe I'm saying this. I must feel really comfortable. You know who really got on my nerves a little bit?
Who?
Stacy. Do you think Stacey was materialistic?
I wouldn't say that she's materialistic. I know Stacey in the personal level. I was very good friends with her when the show was airing.
Be honest.
I'm being honest. I think I don't want to like, and I'm never gonna speak ill about Stacey because Stacey was there for me in a lot of.
But just based off of watching it from a viewer's perception.
I don't think it was that. I think there was so much more there
than what editing was showing.
Then the whole thing, then the edit was showing that the show showed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm never going to spill ill about her in any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more to that. There's always more to it. And I do this and say this about, I will not speak ill about any of the cast members from Love is Blind. And the reason being because I hate with all my life that there's actually people that have been in the show and take it to themselves to make a podcast and literally scrutinize the people that go after them. I hate it with my life.
No, that I don't agree
I
with.
see them as so poorly. I see it as tacky. I see it as like, how dare you? When you went through the same experience as me and have the nerve to judge an edit. When you've been through the experience, when you know what it is like. And I'm never going to understand it, and I hate it. So I'm never going to be the person to say, like, this person is this, or this person is that. And even when we're talking about my experience, I'm not going to put words in my mouth that I would like somebody else, that I wouldn't want somebody else to do it for me. So when I talk about my experience, per se, with Lydia and with Luce, I try to be very careful because of that reason. Because I've been the person on the other side. I've been the person that's been
and
judged,
that's the problem. Because
lied about.
I haven't, and the viewers haven't. So it's like people like me only go off from what you see and and what they say in their confessionals when you guys are inside of the pods, right? That's the only thing we can go off of.
Yeah, 1,000%. And then like podcasts like about that, and then things that you try to make of you after filming, right? Because you guys only see one portion about it, and there's people like. I guess like that's what social media is about. That's what we try to make it about. Like, okay, this is my life after the fact. And this is who I am. And I'm trying very hard to portray who I am on my socials. And I talk about my condition. I talk about my traumas in life. I've done TikTok lives and I explain. My life has never been easy. I don't know what it is to say, oh, that was easy. No, nothing. Not even the show. I went to the one-time life and opportunity.
Once in a lifetime.
And I was judged. And I was judged by my past. And it was right there. And it tainted my experience. It did. And even before that, like anything in my life has been so up. Right now I'm dealing with a chronic illness that doesn't have a cure. And it's literally my body fighting against me. In every aspect of my life, I've been let go of jobs. I've loss, and the most horrible thing that a human can go through is grief of losing a loved one. 2021, when he was saying that I was going through rough times, I lost my nephew. A 1 month and a half nephew. They didn't show this on the show, but I was telling him that the only aunt that I had in my family, that was my mom's sister, passed away of leukemia. And she was only 50 years old. Once a human being knows what grief is about, what is to lose someone you love, there's nothing that compares to. So it's like, for me, yes, life hasn't been easy, but as long as I don't keep losing people I love, I'm okay. I'll keep surviving. I'll keep fighting.
I like it. I'm learning. I'm listening. I'm learning.
But that is what is being vulnerable about. Life is so short and so erratic. And like, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So enjoy your moment. Be yourself.
Because I feel like
why would you want to spend the time being somebody else? That is not you.
I've thought about signing up for Netflix shows, but I'm like, I can't do it. Like, I can't. Like,
It takes a lot of courage.
It does.
And you're literally
and you don't want
inviting
to seem
people
boring when you do get in front. It's like,
but at the same time, like, that was never a thing in my brain. Like, don't be bored, Lydia. I was never like, that was not a thing in my brain. I was like, literally, my goal was to find my husband, to find someone who was gonna love me for me. It wasn't even about the show. It was like, I am going to, and I'm not gonna lie, say like, oh yeah, I didn't bring opportunities.
I was about, yeah,
like yeah,
yeah,
but not even in about that, because it's not like I'm saying like, oh, I have so many brand deals. No, I don't. I have a full-time job. I still work as a project geologist. I work in an environmental consulting firm full-time, and I do content creation part-time. But at the same time, it's like, it doesn't leave me. No, I cannot quit my full-time job for this.
You could.
No, I can't.
Yeah, you could, Lydia.
I could, but it doesn't give me what my full-time job gives me.
Trust me. Social media can pay. If you put what you put in your full-time.
I don't know. To this day,
because you have the looks, you have the connections.
Give me 1 second. Can we pause 1 second?
Yeah.
It's like I didn't notice it's almost 7.
No, you're fine. I know your husband's like, where are you?
He's like, literally, he texted me saying, I don't get class until 6:30. Wait, I was supposed to be at dinner at 7.
How far is dinner?
I'm trying to look.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh. This got like lengthy without me knowing about it.
You guys set dinner dates all the time with each other?
No. This is like this is a collab, actually. It's 20 minutes away. Let me...
Busybody.
Let me text her saying I'm running late. Are we almost like wrapping up?
Yeah, 5 more minutes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to...
No, you're fine. You're totally fine. I'm just going to ask you like 2 more questions and then we'll be...
Okay.
Audi 3000.
Estoy haciendo un poco que se me cogió el tiempo, pero te escribo tan pronto salga. Yo estoy a punto de terminar. Te llamo ahora. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Trust me, I know you got other priorities. Now, my next question to you is, would you ever do reality TV again?
I would, but nothing, obviously I'm married, so nothing with dating life.
Right.
I guess like more like, I love dancing. So Dancing with the Stars, that would be like goals, dream goals. Maybe
I can see you acting.
I would love to act. That was actually one of my dreams growing up as a kid. But my mom was like, as Latina mom, you need to study something. I was doing an oral talk in English. I'm sure this already on my socials, but I basically said it was an oral talk.
Okay.
And it was like, what are you going to do when you grow up?
Okay.
And I was in middle school. And I put acting. And my mom was like, you're not a child anymore. You need to find something that you're going to actually study. So my mom killed my acting career.
Yikes.
To this day, I keep giving her a hard time. I'm like, I would have been famous already with my dramatic ass.
Now, what would you say to someone like me or someone who's single, maybe wants to find love, maybe not wants to find love?
Don't give up.
Yeah,
I know being lonely.
We got to go on TV to find love, like Lydia.
Apparently. But
right.
Don't give up. Be yourself. And you're already at a point that you love yourself to the point that you are like, oh, do I really want someone? That's when you need to look. Because you know that the person that is going to enter your life is going to add to it, not subtract. And that's the point. Find someone who's going to add to you and make you be the best version of yourself, not take away from your wholesome self. Be yourself. There's someone out there for you. Don't give up.
Makes me wonder.
Yeah.
Am I doing everything I'm supposed to do? It makes me wonder because it's like...
It's not going to literally just arrive to your doorstep and fall out of your sky. You do actually need to go out. There's so many TikToks around and videos. It's like, do I need to actually go out? Yes, you do. You need to go out and put yourself out there. Hey, if you're going to risk anything, you don't win.
Well, I appreciate you so much for doing this interview.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
It's been
amazing.
lovely. Thank you.
I loved you before. Freaking love you now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Ron's Way podcast with myself and the amazing, beautiful Lydia from Netflix Love is Blind Season 5. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you so much.
And I'll see you guys soon.
Bye.